a place where the energy of the sun doesn't reach, and where oxygen-hating bacteria still rule.
I was in a manned submersible, so you're down under the ocean, nearly 2,000 meters, and it's a totally alien, quiet world that's crystal clear. And then you go from black lavas into this vents with black smokers and animals all over the place. It's just like going into an oasis.
It may look lush and alive, but if there is a harsher place to live than a hydrothermal vent, it hasn't been found yet. Poisonous gas, searing hot water, heavy metals, extreme acidity, enormous underwater pressure. This seafloor ecosystem seems more like something from deep space than our own deep sea. Yet amazing communities of life have taken hold around these vents. Black smokers are powered by volcanoes, but that isn't smoke billowing out. It's hot, mineral-laced water. Water seeps down into the Earth's hot mantle through cracks on the ocean floor, where it gets superheated and starts to dissolve toxic heavy metals. The water, now heated to 400 degrees Celsius, boils back up through the sea floor. When the toxic mixture hits the frigid seawater, the dissolved minerals and heavy metals precipitate out, creating the billowing black plumes and building up these chimney-like structures. That life can exist under these conditions is amazing, but even more so when we consider that these creatures, the tube worm, clams, and crabs, are all sustained by one tiny bacterium that feeds off this toxic chemical stew.
So the hydrothermal vent ecosystem is an ecosystem that works on something called kemosynthesis, not photosynthesis like the rest of the planet does.
The chemical energy that powers this remote ecosystem is harnessed by anaerobic bacteria, similar to the first life in the ocean, who literally eat the dissolved rocks and minerals belching out of these vents.
So the fundamental grass in this system are microbes. That's the basis of the whole ecosystem.
These hardy microbes that survive on the fuel provided by the black smokers, in turn attract a range of extraordinarily adapted creatures to this deep, dark site.
So the basic food source in the system is bacteria. And all of these animals have to figure out some way of getting that bacteria. There are some animals that have gotten to the point where, well, I don't want to spend all my energy, grazing bacteria. There's some crabs that grow the bacteria on their claws, and they put their front claws out into the water flow, and they sit there growing the bacteria like grass, and then they bring them in and they just lick their hands and then they put them back out again.
A harsh environment like this promotes adaptation. There is no easy way to make a living. For creatures to survive down here, they have to be creative.
It's really instructive to look at what we call extreme environments, because you can begin to see the different solutions to problems that the environment throws at life on this planet. So looking at an environment like a hot vent, begin to realize that things that we consider are huge problems in our world have been solved by animals somewhere in the evolution of life. When we look at an ecosystem like the hydrothermal vents, we realize that life often can make the most of almost any setting. And so, given just the slightest chance, life is probably going to take it.
When it has to, life can adapt to extreme environments. But given a more forgiving and bountiful ecosystem, life explodes. Around 600 million years ago, multicellular animals started to take over the ocean. The first coral and sponge reefs provided the ideal home. The tight spaces and maze-like design feed and protect a multitude of species and offer a steady diet for the many predators.